LexisNexis is a very important but complex database. You can find it under Find, and then Databases or Subscription Databases. Go to the L's, and LexisNexis Academic should be right there. This is a kind of difficult database to search in that it is so complex. And I think it's partially that way because unlike many databases that are usually made for just researchers or just people in academic settings, LexisNexis in general is really meant for people in the private sector, and they're in the quote-unquote real world. Um, so that means people in business and in law, and because of that, LexisNexis is not really made for students, even though this is LexisNexis academic version. But don't let the fact that it's hard to search bother you, because there's a lot of really great stuff that you can find in here that you won't be able to find anywhere else. We have subscriptions to newspapers that aren't available for free online. We have uh, legal stuff. And this is actually probably our best legal database, period. And also company information, which is not always easy to find online either. So this is also a database that is used in many different industries in the quote-unquote real world. And if you don't believe me, here's Conan O'Brien's Team Coco webpage that has an ad here for people who want to have internships. And actually on the page, they actually say they want their research interns to be familiar with LexisNexis. By name, they actually say that, because that's what they use to do research on people who are going to be on the show. So there's various jobs out there that may make use of LexisNexis. So I'm going to start with a general search up in the search box, which is usually going to be a news search. Although if you want to search for something specific, you can click this subject or topic bit up here, and it'll let you also select things like federal statutes and regulations, state statutes and regulations. That basically means law within your state, law reviews, international law, company information, and other such things. So let's just do a general search for Mercy Hearst. And what we get are quite a few articles from the Erie Times News, because we actually have a subscription to it in LexisNexis. And it goes back pretty far too, so you may be able to come here to get articles instead of having to pay for them through the Erie Times News. Although this is generally a text-only database, so you're not going to be able to get things like pictures and the like, but at least we'll get you the information. So let's say I wanted to look for things that actually weren't in the Times News, and I want to see what is worldwide. So I guess Mercy Hearst got into USA Today once. So let's have a look at that. Small Mercy Hearst is big force in women's hockey. This is from 2006. So it has some information about Mercy Hearst and some of its players. And this was actually printed in USA Today, which is a national newspaper, so that's pretty cool. So we can also do legal searches. So I'm going to try a quick legal case search using this citation to a court case that I found in another article somewhere else. So to get the full text, we can see if we can get it here. We don't have the full version of the legal LexisNexis that lawyers use, which is extraordinarily expensive, but we can still get a pretty decent amount of case law. So there's more than one Duncan v. Louisiana, but we're looking for the one from 1968, so we'll try this one. And there it is. So this has the case summary, the legal citation information, and it tells us what happened during the case. And all this stuff is, by the way, literally legalese, so it's not always going to be easy to read, but it is pretty important. And especially if you want to do something with your career that involves the law, getting used to this kind of language would probably be useful to you. So we have an overview and an outcome. Defendant was charged with simple battery, a misdemeanor punishable a maximum of 2 years, blah blah. Defendant sought trial by jury, but because Louisiana Constitution grants jury trials only in cases of capital punishment and imprisonment, blah blah. So the court reversed defendant's simple battery conviction and remanded for further proceedings because the trial court erred in denying defendant's request for a jury trial. Okay, so that tells us about that case.